Today I wanted to share my Semrush power hack of how I use URL strings for faster competitive report preparation. In the way of context, I'm a digital marketer responsible for paid and SEO at our agency. If you're like me in that role, you get a fair amount of urgent requests for SEO overviews for marketing, sales, and client support teams. Happy to help with those, but crunched for time. So I wanted to walk through my little power hack of how to prepare these reports a little bit faster. Also, in the way of introductions, Semrush, if you don't know it, is a leading all in one SEO management, reporting, and performance tool. It's been my preferred for a decade plus. Really happy user. So, when someone asks for a basic competitive analysis, I like to include details from three reports. First is the basic compare website reports. This is really your domain overview report, but for several sites all at once. It's essentially what gives you a quick lay of the land. One note with this, think about the right level of competitor. Comparing a small e-commerce retailer with Amazon is just demotivating. Comparing with sites smaller than your own can sort of limit your goals. Find the right balance. All things being equal, I typically like to include like two direct same size competitors and then one more aspirational. So yeah, this one gives you, again, the basic lay of the land. The next report I like to look at for my sort of mile-high competitive reports is the link gap report. With the backlink gap report, it's probably my favorite report. I really like the best or everyone but you tab. That is essentially backlinks from sites that link to everyone else in the competitive set except yourself. The reason I like that is we have to remember these other sites are also each other's competitors. So if they can all build or win or earn a link somewhere, you probably can too. They compete with each other. It's not going to be some proprietary relationship or cartel or something like that. When I take a look at the link gap report, I try to understand what types of link these are. Are they like foundational, straightforward links that SEOs can build on our own? Do I need to leverage the wider marketing team, digital PR, or client relationships? Or does it require some real heavy lifting like launching a podcast or an app or something like that? The third report I like to include here is the keyword gap report. Same concept as the backlink gap report, but keywords instead of links. This gives us a nice view into what competitors are talking about, ranking for. An added benefit of looking at this through the gap report instead of keyword research for the individual sites is you save a lot of time filtering out things like brand terms, team member names, addresses, all that sort of stuff, since all sites aren't typically ranking for the same people or same addresses. When I'm running these reports for one of those sort of I need it urgently analyses, I typically do three things. I like the screenshots of the pretty dashboard itself for the presentations. I review within Semrush for most of my time. I find it a little bit more intuitive and easier than reviewing like from the CSVs. There's nice filters to use. It's cleanly displayed. Lots of good stuff in there. And then I also do export the CSVs to dive into the details or share with team members or increasingly upload and review alongside the LLM of my choice. Now, to save a little bit of time, particularly if I'm going back to these reports after working on other sites, I like to use Google Sheets to create the report URLs. So I prepared an example here. You can see it as just a very basic Concatenate function where I am entering my URLs up here, my site, and then the three competitors. And then it's spitting out the URLs for the domain overview, the backlink gap, and the keyword gap reports below. So, we can see we just click this. There's that same domain overview I was looking at. There's that same backlink gap report I was looking at. And then you guessed it, the same keyword gap report that I was looking at. I know this isn't some earth-shattering SEO revelation, but hey, if it saves us, 5 minutes a few times a week, that really adds up. So I hope you found it helpful. Till next time.